Some franchises get by on pure charm, and Sailor Moon is definitely one of them. And when a movie has charm and little else, there's really not much to talk about, is there? But in the name of the moon, I'll punish it. Hi, I'm Michael Fitzgibbon, and I'm a 40-year-old anime reviewer. I'm a Leo with blood type red, my birthstone's kidney stones, and I'm almost entirely useless. Some people might say that I'm also a budding sociopath. One day I decided to project my basic bitch opinions and overshare my insecurities with a bunch of strangers on the internet. At least the few that watch my videos. Sailor Moon SuperS, the movie! Hiya! Penguin Truth here, and it's time for more Otaku Evolution. Be sure to like, subscribe, and contribute to my Patreon. Ah, Sailor Moon. I've covered it twice before here, with the first two movies some time ago. Now it's time to wrap up talking about it with the third movie. Sailor Moon SuperS, the movie, or Nine Sailor Soldiers Unite, Miracle of the Black Dream Hole, was released in 1995. It's been dubbed into English twice, the first time by Optimum Productions in DeK, back in 1999, and again by Studiopolis in 2014. For the sake of accuracy, I'll be using the newer dub. Now, originally, Kunihiko Ikehara was going to do the third movie, and the main characters were going to be Sailor Uranus and Sailor Neptune, and there was a different concept for the story. But Ikehara left the series, and concepts he had for the movie were adapted into Revolutionary Girl Utena, which I've reviewed previously. The screenplay was penned by longtime Sailor Moon writer, who also went on to Utena, Yoji Enokido.
Well, okay. When I was younger and my mom would bake me a cake, she'd always do it at exactly 3 o'clock. One day, I decided to ask, so why is it you have to bake cakes at 3? And she told me it's because of what's known as the 3 o'clock fairy. It's an imaginary creature that comes out around 3, telling moms that they should make delicious treats for their children.
In Sailor Moon SuperS, the movie, children are spirited away from their homes at night by a mysterious flautist who has them carried off on a ship to an evil queen who plans on using sleeping children to power a black hole, like you do. Meanwhile, Chibiusa makes a friend who has ties to the villains. The Sailor Guardians team up to take on the musical miscreants and free the children from an eternal sleep. And that's about it. The feature is about an hour long and has all the depth of a Punch and Judy show. It's a pretty, shiny, colorful nothing. There's really nothing to talk about here. It's as simple as sugar. Well, there is one thing I can talk about. A folk legend. I'm certain you must have heard of the Pied Piper of Hamelin. Almost said violinist of Hamelin there. That would have been a very different video. It's a legend from the town of Hamelin in Germany that dates back to the Middle Ages. In the tale, a piper is hired as a rat catcher, using his music to lure the vermin away from town. He lures the rats into the Weser River, where they drown. Though successful in his efforts, he was refused the agreed payment of 1,000 guilders, instead offered 50 guilders. The mayor even accused him of bringing the rats into town to begin with. The piper was furious and vowed revenge. One day, while the adults were in church, the piper returned and played a tune that enraptured the town's children, and lured them away as he did the rats. 130 children followed him. They were never seen again. It has been speculated that the story may be based on an actual historical event, but despite research, no single event has been universally accepted as true. The legend does conjure up one of parents' greatest fears, the abduction of their progeny, and in general is a story about the disappearance of a generation. Child abduction is still considered a problem in society, tied to other horrific practices like sexual abuse and child slavery. But most often, a child is abducted by a parent as part of a dispute, usually tied to divorce and custody legal battles. The paranoia about mass child abduction is largely just that, paranoia. The Pied Piper of Hamelin is a classic story that has been adapted into different forms of media for centuries. It's one of those iconic tales that anyone would recognize when used as a motif. And of course, I bring this up because this Sailor Moon uses it as well, with a character who uses his flute to attract children to his ship to be carried away to Queen What's-Her-Face to be used for their energy. The flute the villain has can also activate his henchmen, as well as hypnotize the Sailor Guardians. Fortunately, the main five have the support of Tuxedo Mask, oh so useful, and the Outer Guardians, who are badass.
The children you've taken, what will you do with them?
All we're trying to do is change this awful planet into a world where they can remain children for as long as they live. What's so wrong with that? Queen Badiane, forgive me!
A world where kids never grow up?
But if you don't reach adulthood, then you can't enjoy life's pleasures. Isn't that right, Uranus?
So anyway, Chibiusa meets a boy named Pearl.
And to the Pearl Prize pouch!
No, I said a boy named Pearl, who I guess previously served under Queen What's-Her-Face before deciding to rebel. When Chibi Moon is captured and brought to Marzipan Castle, it's Pearl who leads the Sailor Guardians there on a ship of his own. He even tries to help Sailor Moon defeat the evil queen. But other than being vaguely sensitive and helpful, there's really not much to this character. In fact, there's not much to any of the new characters in this movie. At least Mamoru's boyfriend and Ice Bitch from the first two movies had something going on, but the evil Queen What's-Her-Face is just that, a dime a dozen evil figure looking to plunge the world into darkness or something. Do these malevolent monarchs all go to the same finishing academy, or what? I was more invested in that one guy in Hearts on Ice who was obsessed with Prince Kaguya, and he sucked. Anyway, as you may guess, the Sailor Guardians all join their power, and blah blah blah, the children are rescued from Ghislaine Maxwell.
What? Impossible!
I have to tell you, outside of some of the visuals and the neat Pied Piper motif, there's really not a whole lot to this feature. Not that there's a whole lot to any Sailor Moon movie, but this one seemed the barest of bones, with all the nutrition value of Chibiusa's cookies. If they had given Queen What's-Her-Face a backstory or something, maybe showed the Sailor Guardians trying to save other kids while they were being led away from their homes all around the world, that would make all this seem fuller. But as it is, it's just a candy-coated romp to watch in the background while browsing TV tropes. So yeah, that's all I've got. As I said, Sailor Moon gets away with a lot because of its pure charm, the whimsy of the girls and their powers that hypnotize us into caring for their shallow adventures. Don't get me wrong, I enjoy Sailor Moon, but I also recognize its dearth of complexity. Next time on Otaku Evolution, something with a little more substance. From Lupin the Third? Huh. Until then, see ya! There's nothing more precious than children's smiles, but maybe don't hypnotize them with flute music and lead them to your special playground or puzzle basement. Jim Caviezel probably thinks that really happens. What a dope! Though Queen What's-Her-Face did seem like she'd guzzle adrenochrome, Penguin Truth says, tee-hee!